Hello everyone, my name is Excelsius Maximus, this is XMax TV, and today I'm going to give you the top 3 decks for you guys to go up the ladder in MTGArena. So I decided today to make this video to show you what I think are the 3 best decks for you guys to go and win the most games you can in constructed play and quick constructed. Especially in quick constructed, like I'll show you, and most of you will know of course, it's the place where you can make the most money in the game, so you can buy more packs and everything. Especially if you are a free-to-play gamer, player, whatever. It's here that you'll make most of your income for buying more cards and adding more cards to your collection. So, without further ado, the 3 decks that we are going to talk about today is I call it Red Goes Fast, because basically it's a mono-red deck. It's the new historic blue-white that a lot of people have been talking about, and the blue-black control. I'll start with the red and then I'll go through the other two. I chose these 3 decks because the red is actually way more like the fastest deck that you can have at the moment, I think, and it's way more aggro, and the incarnation of the aggro idea, right? The blue-white is a mid-range deck, and the black is a more control deck, so you can choose what type of style of play you want to play also in here. So that's why I chose these 3 also, and of course they are making the best win rates at the moment. So yeah, that's it. So let's go for the red one. In here we start with what I call actually the pirate package. This is not Hearthstone, but they are here also. And of course there has been pirates for a long time in here also. I'm just joking because it is a recurrent thing in Magic, not in Magic, in Hearthstone. This goes around with Daring Buccaneer. I'm playing 1, but actually you can play like 2, 3. I don't recommend more than 2 actually, so just stay for the 2. Then you have Fanatical Firebrand, which is also a pirate and helps you trigger Daring Buccaneer. And then you have Rigging Runner. Of course, every one of them has their own value. Like Buccaneer is a 2/2 for 1. If you have a pirate in hand, it's just really good. Fanatical Firebrand is just that's it. That's just good. Right, it's a 1/1 with haste that can sacrifice itself to kill another creature. It's basically a Mock Fanatic with a turny thing. With the tapping that you need to tap. But it's a really good card, right? Then you have Rigging Runner that has the raid thing of getting +1/+1, so it's basically a 2/2 with first strike for 1 red. Of course you want that, right? Especially in an aggressive deck like this one. Then I will go through the creatures and then I'll go for the spells at the end, right? Then I have Soulscar Mage. Actually I've been changing Daring Buccaneers for Soulscar Mages, because the thing is the Soulscar Mage has a broader flexibility, let's say. It's a 1/2 for 1, that's not the big deal in here. Is the prowess, it's a good part of it, but mostly it's for the second ability. The second ability lets you control certain creatures, lets you destroy them in a better way, especially if they are indestructible. Since you put -1/-1 counters, you can destroy them. It makes it way better to kill things, let's say. To put things out of your way so you can pass through and kill your opponent. Then we go for Kenra. Kenra is just Kenra, right? It's 2/1 with haste for 2 that has that amazing ability that takes something out of the way for him to attack and the other guys. And then you can eternalize it, which is also really great. If you need to go to that point of the game, it's like it's having more engine to go on. It's just you don't like just go out of cards and you go out of things. It lets you have more possibilities to the mid-range part of the game. So we go for the Crasher. The Crasher is just good, right? It's a 3/2 with haste that takes also a thing out of the way. So yeah, it's like just people move out the way so they can go, right? Then I'm playing with Chain Whirler. The card is actually really cool. There is people playing with the Ferocidont, the dinosaur that was banned from Standard. Actually, for me, they are both really good, each one in their own way, of course. I'm playing with this one, but you could play also with the other one. They are both really good in their own way. I like this one more just for the fact it helps to deal with tokens, so that's why I chose this one. Then you have Azarath. Azarath is like Azarath, right? She's just really a really good card that helps you finish off the games really easily and really fast. So for sure, if you have to choose to craft anything mythic, just go for her. I think it's the best option in this deck. Then you have the Phoenix. The Phoenix is actually a really good card because it's almost impossible to deal with, right? He dies, he gets the token. Unless you have 2 pieces of removal, you are in a really bad shape. So, yeah, if you can, after Azarath, just put Phoenixes. I would have 3 Phoenixes in here, I don't have because of Glorybringer. And because I don't, first of all, because I don't have more mythic wild cards, and second, because I also like Glorybringer. It helps you finish off the games, those annoying things that are blocking your way, go out of the way because it gives him 4 damage and say goodbye. So yeah, play with 1 or 2 Glorybringers also, it's a really good card in this deck. Then let's go for spells. We have Magma Spray, it's our Shock. We don't have Shock because we don't have Kaladesh in here. Shock is cool because it goes face. Sometimes you would like to give those 2 damage to the face, but in this situation you can't. But it helps you exile creatures. For example, it helps deal with a Scarab God sometimes. And that is really cool. So it has its own value. Then we have Abrade. Abrade is Abrade, right? 3 damage, destroys the artifact, so it's flexible. And it easily kills a creature. I really enjoy this card. And then we have Lightning Strike. It's the fixed lightning bolt, right? It's a really good card. So of course I'm playing with 4 of these, and I think everyone should play with 4 of these in this deck. Then we go for lands. I'm playing with 21 lands. Actually you can play to 22 I think, but no more than that. That is, going over that I don't think it's a good idea. If I would change in here, I put 1 more ruin in here and keep these 2. I'm not playing with another one that a lot of people are playing, and I'll show you, and that's an option also, which is, if we get there, where are you? Which is Scavenging Grounds. Of course, Scavenging Grounds also helps you deal with Scarab Gods, because you clean all the cemeteries, you don't let the guy go get anything. If you can somehow kill the Scarab God and activate this at the same time, it's just perfect. Course. But other than that, is really complicated. But even so, it's an insurance policy against that deck. I'm not running it because I've not run in so much decks of those lately, so that's why I'm not doing it. So for the red, we are done. We are going now for the blue-white, for the mid-rangey more deck, let's say, and then we go for the more controlly one. So in here, I won't give you such exact numbers of cards. I'm just going to give you more a broad idea because I played way more red than I played these 2 decks. But I have got it to a point that I know what are the cards that you should play in here in one way or the other. You just choose what you feel is most right to you guys. Seal Away is one of those that I wouldn't say you choose, is like you play it because it's just so good. Right, it's probably one of the best removals in the format right now, so you should just play the 4 of. Essence Scatter, once again, is a creature-heavy format. You should just try to counter the most, and if you can counter something like a Scarab God with this, it's just like the cherry on top of the cake, right? So yeah, just like, I'm not saying to play 4, of course, but like 2 to 3 maximum, mostly 2 I think it's the best. Then you have Trickster. The Trickster is really cool, because it can help you with a lot of pesky abilities of creatures. It takes Indestructible, it takes First Strikes, it takes all those things, it turns creatures, makes them not be able to attack or to defend. It's just a really flexible creature that helps you a lot. Then I have a Gideon in here. I would play maximum with 2. It's a good good walker in here that helps you deal with some creatures. It can become a creature also, and it can be an insurance policy. Most likely in this deck we won't use so much the second ability, but the 4/4 becoming a 4/4 or the one that prevents damage is where you are going to play. So it's a good card to have in the game. History of Benali is just like the best saga that there is, I think. I still have a thing for the Pyrexian one, because I think that can be cool with some weird build, but later if I do it I'll post it here on the channel also. But it's really great, right? You put 2 creatures for 3 mana that have vigilance, that in the third tick of this become 4 trees with vigilance, right? It's just value, it's like really great value, this card. So if you can play with 4, just play with 4 of. Supreme Will once again is another counter that lets you scry, lets you go deep into the deck, lets you choose. That's the thing, the card lets you choose, so it's a good card for you to have in this deck. Then I have 2 Cast Out. I could be playing with Cast Out or with Ixalan's Binding. Of course, Cast Out has the flash. Ixalan Binding does not, but you have Wrath, which is one of the most important, let's say, cards into the deck, which would make Ixalan's Binding have flash also. Of course, you will not always have Wrath into play, but you'll try to most of the time have him into play, because he makes an engine thing of flashing everything basically in your deck. So yeah, you can choose, of course, because we know Ixalan's Binding gives you that possibility of locking a guy out of his Scarab God, of his the Red God. Now I just got blank. So it makes your opponent not be able to just go to his better cards in that sense. So it's a possibility also. The other card, one other card in here is Settle the Wreckage. Settle is just good, right? If it doesn't kill a lot of creatures that your opponent is attacking, if he sees that you have 4 mana unturned, he thinks like maybe a Settle, so probably I shouldn't attack with everything, I should just attack with 1 or 2 creatures to see if I make him play it. And that's the thing, even if you don't have it in your hand, your opponent might think that you have, so it's always a great card to have in your deck, because it makes your opponent think twice before attacking you, right? Then we have Wrath. Wrath, we talked about him, is like a flyer with flash that is for 4 mana. Just that makes him a good creature, but the fact that he gives flash to everything historic, that is most of the things in this deck, just really cool. It's a really well costed creature, it's just really nice. Then you have Karn. Karn, I put it in here, most of people are not playing with Karn, because the idea at the beginning was to make this a more Planeswalker heavy deck, actually. And Karn fits really well into that idea, with a few more artifacts and a few historic things, makes him a really good engine, even for killing your opponent. If there is more than like 2 or 3 artifacts on the table, it starts to create creatures that are really big. And if you can create them oftenly enough, your opponent will not be able to deal with all of them, for sure. So and of course, because it is a draw engine, it just keeps giving you and giving you and giving you cards, right? So it's really cool. And like, imagine, the first time you do the reveal thing, the second time you do the second one, even if you took the good card, you can now choose, like, I have that good card in exile, or I can draw another one. So you can really choose what kind of thing you want to draw, so that's why I think Karn is actually a really good draw engine. I put here Traxos. I know it's kinda crazy to put here Traxos, but if we think most of the things are historic, so I think not the 3 of like I have in here, this was a test run of the thing that went actually really wrong. I think the 2 of is the best idea, because you put down enough historic spells a game for this guy to almost untap every turn. So I think this is actually a good card to play in here. Of course, then we have Lyra. Lyra does not need any introduction. It's just amazing. It has flying, first strike, lifelink. It's a 5/5 for 5. God damn it, it's just great. And then it even has the +1/+1 and lifelink to other angels. Even though I don't have any other angels in here, there is the 3/4 angel that gives X-proof to you and all your creatures and planeswalkers, which some people are playing to a certain degree of success, so I would not consider it completely out. Like 1 to 2 of that angel with like 2 to 3 of Lyra, I think it's a good idea actually. Then I have here the kitties because I just helped, and it was just to put something in here to fix the deck, because they make you live longer, they deal with certain things. It's not a perfect card for you, of course not. It's just, while I can't put anything else, I just have them here. I'm also giving you these options just in case you also, like me, don't have enough wild cards to do the perfect decks, right? Then we have Oath of the Fairy. This is one of the cards that is more dedicated to the Planeswalker heavy decks. If you don't have so much Planeswalkers in here, probably you don't want to play this. This is really good with Planeswalker heavy things. Because the flicker is really cool. For example, you could flicker a cat and make him put 2 more tokens or something different, or flicker a planeswalker for him to play, do his abilities again or something like that. So it's really cool. That's the main idea actually. And then you have the second part that is activate abilities twice. So basically you can activate planeswalker. If I'm not wrong, you can activate a planeswalker 3 times in a turn. So that is just bonkers, right? You activate him, you flicker him, you put him back down, and you activate it twice again. So it's just great. And then we have Teferi. Teferi is, for me, the best planeswalker in Standard. It's just really good. His 3 abilities are really, really, really cool. The first one, the draw and then tap. The thing, if it would be just the draw, it would be okay already. But the draw and then tap, it's just so great because it draws and protects you, because it gives you enough mana for you to deal to like be able to do a removal spell or a counter or something like that. Then you have the removal part that you just put anything basically inside of his deck, third from the top, which is like really annoying positioning of the cards. And then the emblem is just like destructive. After you put that on the table, most likely your opponent won't have any chance to win the game. Because you got to a point that is just like really controlly, and just you have full on control of the game. That's it. Then we go for the lands. In the lands I have this that I just really bad. Of course, this one's Meandering River is a substitute for Glacial Fortress and Irrigated Farmlands. That's what you want. You want to play with those 8, and not this for sure. And you want to play with 25 to 26 lands. That's what you want to play. You don't want to play with 24 like I have in here. It's really, really bad for this deck. So that's it basically for this deck. I think it's all the options. There is a few more fringe options, but I don't think they are better than the ones that I gave you guys here. So this one is done also, and now let's go for the last one. The most control-y deck is this one. I call it Proto Control because it was a prototype, of course. I didn't finish it completely, and I did a little bit more heavy on creature version. There is way more removal heavy versions, and removal and control, let's say. And probably those are the ones that are going to be better. So you probably should try to go more to that direction. So first I have Opt. Opt is just a really good 1-mana trick. It's great to like filter your deck and give you a card, so it's just really good. Then I have Censor. Censor is good because it's flexible. It's not the best counterspell, but it's flexible. So probably it's a good card to have 1 or 2 in here also. Essence Scatter because once again, creature heavy format, having 2 is no wrong in here, just you can play 2 no problem. I have the Collision because it draws you cards basically, and it's a little body for champ blocking until you can put your big things. So it's a choice. It's not a thing that you should or should not. It depends on how you like to play. So I liked it. It is not the best performing card in the deck for sure, but it's okay. Then Moment of Craving, it's a good removal because there is a lot of tiny creatures going around. You just will always be able to deal with most of the until like third turn creatures with this. So it's a good piece of removal to have. Then I have Treasure Map. Treasure Map is good in every control deck, basically, right? It lets you scry. It's a good menacing for the beginning. Then it lets you buy cards with the treasures, so draw cards, buy cards. You know what I mean? It's draw cards. So it's a good card. It is a really good card. I only have one. I think like two. It's completely good for okay for here. Then Cancel is just like basic counterspell, right? I have two in here. Most people play, I think, 1 to 2 also. Probably some people don't even play it, play spells that they like most. It's just good because it's like counter target spell, there is no other things, that's it, and you can't do anything about it, basically, unless you counter it yourself, of course. So yeah, that's why I run 2. Then Champion of Wits, it's like, once again, it lets you go and filter your deck, and it's just a good engine of card draw, so if you can just put it in there. Secrets of the Golden City, it's a cool card. I put it here more as a filler. It lets you draw a few things. Of course, if you have the City's Blessing, you draw 3 cards for 3, which is just amazing, right? But I don't think you should play more than 1 or 2, of course. Supreme Will, you should play with 3, possibly. Supreme Will is actually a really flexible card, a really good counter. It lets you really go deep into your deck also to search for something. So yeah, it's a really cool card for having in here. Golden Demise. Okay, Golden Demise is really good. Also, once again, we are in a creature heavy format. I keep saying this. It will help you a lot, especially against the red decks and some tribal things that you might find, like especially merfolks. It's a thing that still pops up sometimes, or now not so much because people notice they are not so good. But the fungus decks, at a week ago or something, people were really trying on that. It didn't really fit. It feels a little bit too weak. But this deals, in case you find them, this deals with them. Then this is probably one of the best draw cards that you can have, especially because it has cycling, so it once again is flexible. Amonkhet was really good with that, with giving flexibility to the cards. They might not be the most powerful cards, but they were really flexible. That's what makes them good. So yeah, it's a good draw thing. Then you have Ravenous Chupacabra, which is just a great creature, right? It just kills it and still has a body that it leaves behind. So yeah, if you have the 4, probably should just play the 4 in here of this. I have 1 Twilight Prophet in here. This is more a preference choice. I really like it. I wouldn't play more than 2 maximum. But it's cool. When you have the City's Blessing, you start the engine, go on with her, and it's really good. Yeah, it is. Then Vraska's Contempt, it's the best removal spell that you have. Just takes care of pretty much everything, and you get to life. Which is not great, but it helps also, right? Then Hostage Taker is not bad. It's better than some people have been giving her credit for. But I wouldn't play more than 2, I think. It's a good card. That's just it. Then Scarab God, this is the guy that makes the deck, right? Everyone knows this. This guy scries, this guy takes life from your opponents. It makes you 4/4 zombies, and it is almost unkillable unless you exile it, right? So that's why you want to exile this guy. But unless you can exile him, that's what I mean, this is just so bad to deal with, right? This guy is just really good. That's if you have just a few mythic wild cards to use them crafting this thing, because This is a game winner, for sure. Then I have one Tetsimok in here. Tetsimok is actually not bad. I started to use him when I saw the first blue-black deck that they gave us from those 10, you know. And it was interesting enough for us to start to try to tinker with it. And I always left one because if you get to that point that you have like 7, 8, 10 mana, you can just do everything in the same turn and most likely your opponent won't be able to answer it. And you just board wipe him and leave a 6/6 on the table. So if it's something like that, is really cool. Of course, this will happen once in a while, but that's why we only have one in the deck. Then we go for lands. Of course, you should play with 4 of Drowned Catacombs. I have 2 Evolving Wilds. I think you should play with 2 Evolving Wilds. And the other dual lands that are common is not so good. Probably 2 maximum. And then you go for swamps and islands. Once again to the 25-26 lands, because this is a land. This is a deck that needs a lot of mana. It's a lot of mana hungry. And this is actually not bad. I think because of the cycling possibility of it, and since the deck is slow by itself, it's a good card to have 1 or 2 in it. Yeah. So that is it, guys. These are the top 3 decks. I almost chose to show you 5, but the other 2 are not so strong, not so there. There is the other ideas was like actually either between Merfolks, the dinosaurs. Okay, it was 3 more then. And there is a few versions of Approach of the Second Sun going around that are actually really tasty. I would say they just lock you in a way that you can't do anything and then just go for the approach and that's it. Besides that, I don't know. I don't think the other ones are so competitive, but they are for sure fun. Golgari, for example, the Explore deck with these little Trent guys is really funny. The Knights one is also cool, but I'm trying to build a Wizard deck also, that I'll show to you guys probably tomorrow on stream or something like that. But besides these 3 that I told you, preferably, let's say, the other ones are not so competitive. So if you want to choose a really competitive deck, these 3 are probably the ones that will give you the most success. So if you guys liked it, just don't forget, leave a like, subscribe, and whatever you'd like to see me talk about next about this game, just tell me in the comments, and probably, most likely, let's say I'll talk about it in a video, in the next video.